Dave Birkett here, along with Carlos Monarrez, coming in from off camera for maybe the final time here on Freep.com. Carlos, we got big news to announce. I mean, first of all, it's Thursday, so we're bringing this video, our prediction video, to you a day early. But yeah, well, a couple housekeeping matters. First of all, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, or that's why we're shooting our video today. So I just want to be proud pop for a sec. Say good luck. My daughter's running a cross country coaches National Youth Championship, Indiana tomorrow. So good luck to Avery, a couple of her teammates too from Our Lady of Victory. Matthew Wright, Benny Seidel, they're all running down there. So I'm not going to be there. That's why we're shooting this today. And look, we're going a little high tech. I mean, you see the microphone, right? We've had this for a couple weeks now. And look at this here. We got a little remote control.
Don't press that button.
I'm not going to press it, but at some point here, we're going to be able to control this camera from our seats right here. We're using a new tripod right now. It's a special gift from my friend Mike Wolber, good old high school buddy of mine, big Freep.com fan, big fan of Carlos. I don't know why, of course, big fan of me. But Mike sent us a little gift. He said it was for me, you, and Sean, because Sean was in here when we did the. Yeah, I don't know either, but because Sean was in here when we sniffed the smelling salts, remember? And Mike really liked that. He enjoyed that video. He was sick of seeing me sometimes hold the video in my hand, though I like to do that, hold the camera in my hand. I know Carlos has got on me. Yeah, Carlos has got on me about that too. And he said, you know what? It's about time Carlos doesn't have to come from behind the camera, and he can, use this little remote control.
That's
now.
Awesome.
We didn't figure it out right away. I mean, we had to bring this video to you guys.
There have been some technical difficulties, but we're working on it.
We're going to get through it. We're going to power through it. And the technical experience, the viewing experience for you at home is going to be significantly better because of my buddy Mike.
Absolutely. The tripod that he got us is really nice, and it's very lightweight. That definitely means there's no excuse for you not to have it on the road so that you're not shaking in the press box at whatever time, 11 o'clock, when you shoot that thing at night. So you'll be nice and fresh, and it'll be a nice experience for the viewers, nice steady picture. So we're really going high tech here.
So Mike has known me for a lot longer than you have known me, and I feel pretty confident in saying that you don't expect me to carry this tripod everywhere, and Mike probably doesn't either. I mean, it's just the fact that I'm using this microphone is. I mean, that's a win. We have taken a big step. Now I really have to get myself to bringing this tripod along to games, but it might not be till next season. Let's be honest.
Honestly, Mike, unfortunately, Dave will probably lose it too at some point.
That's true. That is true.
But you can't see it, but it's only about like this big. It's like barely more than a ruler. It's very light. I'm assuming it's aluminum. You can easily fit in the bag that we have for your audio video stuff. So there's really no excuse for you not to have it. But I know Dave is Mr. Fly by the seat of your pants. Let's just wing it. Let's see what happens.
Very true.
So So that's I wouldn't expect it. Maybe you'll come around, Dave, one day.
At the very least, when I shoot those videos in my office, the creepy videos that you like to say, holding the camera, I will use this. Yeah, I will use this from now on. So, Merry Christmas to us. We appreciate it, Mike. And let's get on to some predictions. All right, Lions. I was about to say Lions, Giants. I don't know why the Giants are in my mind. Yeah. Bad team in the NFC East that the Lions beat. Maybe that's why.
The Lions can win the NFC East, just like Jim Schwartz won the AFC West a few years ago.
I mean, they would be 3-1. They lost to the Cowboys.
You're right. I'm sorry.
But you do remember Jim Schwartz proclaimed himself the Lions AFC West champs that year, right?
I do miss Schwartzy and those kind of wild things that he used to say. Yeah,
that was great. All right, so losers of 3 straight. Lions. Really, I mean, look, is anything must win at this point? I mean, you're not getting to the playoffs, but just for, I guess, the vibe of the season, or to save yourself from falling, too far underneath that rock. I guess you can't afford to lose to a Washington team that's 1-9. That's really as bad as any team in the NFL. I know Matt Patricia has done the usual coach thing and pumped them up a little bit, but I also found it amusing that when I asked him, how do you convince these guys that you're playing against a good offense? This is a team, Washington, that has not scored a touchdown or did not score a touchdown in 4 games. And he said, you show him the video. And I showed him this clip of Adrian Peterson running 90 yards for a touchdown. That was a clip of Adrian Peterson running 90 yards for a touchdown last year. That's not from this year. There were 3 people on that field that still play for Washington when he ran for that touchdown. So that tells you all you need to know about how good or bad Washington's offense is.
It's terrible. I mean, this is one of the three worst teams in the NFL with the Dolphins and who
Bengals,
else?
yeah.
Bengals. I mean, they're just horrible. And this is one of these classic trap games. I don't know that anything would be decided, but this is one of those.
Trap.
It's a trap game because this is one of those moments. If you lose to the awful to Washington, an awful Washington team, and there's decisions to be made toward the end of the season, this is one of the times you point back to you lost to Washington. Remember when they lost really bad, when Caldwell lost really bad to the Ravens in Baltimore.
Yep.
There's these little touchstone moments.
Baltimore, Washington, pretty close there.
Yeah, it's definitely in the Beltway area and all that. They have to. You would expect them to win handily, but if nothing else, they have to win. I don't think that if let's just crazy talk. They got blown out. They lost. The Lions losing a blowout. That would be really dangerous. But then the really big dangerous thing is the Thanksgiving game. You got 2 games back to back. It's a tall order for them. It's a quick turnaround.
Absolutely have to win both of them, I think.
You have to win both, but for sure, you have to win the Washington game. I think if you win the Washington game handily, and then you lose close to the Bears, it's not as bad. These 2 games they dovetail. They work in conjunction in some way. I don't know what the formula is, but they work together.
No, I think you're right. And obviously Chicago is a better team because Chicago's defense is better, but the Bears are not good on offense either. And look, I think at home, Thanksgiving, we've talked about it before, right? You don't want to embarrass mama, right? I mean, that's just a game that you don't want to on national TV. You don't want to hear a bunch of Bears fans in the audience, in the stands cheering for Mitch Trubisky and watching Mitch Trubisky throw a touchdown.
This is the game that used to keep Tom Lawand up at night, was when the Bears coming in. The Bears would travel better than anybody, and they're loud and nasty, the fans. So he used to stress out about it. So I'm sure. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but
no, you did. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You think Rod Wood is scared about the Bears after the Cowboys came in and took over? Is he scared about the Bears doing the same thing?
Look, I don't know on Thanksgiving. I mean, I think Thanksgiving is a different crowd, right? It's a lot of families. It's a big tradition here, so I'm not quite as worried about the crowd there as really December. I mean, Tampa. Who wants to come see the Lions play the Bucks? Let's be honest about that game, right? Like that there might not be a lot of people in the stands for that game. And it's around the holidays, sometimes people tend to eat those tickets. And then at the end of the season, the Packers. That's a game that really could be a pro visitor, crowd. And so I think those are the 2 games that really could leave a bad taste, aesthetically in the mouths and minds of the people upstairs. But to get back to your point about these 2 teams, these 2 games dovetailing, you're 100% right. Washington is a bad team. This is a team the Lions should beat. I think at home against the Bears, another bad offense, even though, let's be honest, it doesn't look like Matthew Stafford will be playing in either of those games. That's still a game that the Lions should win. When you're at home and you're playing against a bad offense, these are games that you should win. And if they don't, I just don't know what hope there is for the Lions the rest of this year.
All right, just to backtrack for 1 second, I got a bone to pick. It's been bothering me since yesterday. You talked to Stafford. You try to ask him 10 times exactly what the X-rays. Can you give me the X-rays, Matt? Can you give me the MRI? Six times. He said, no, Dave, I'm not going to give them to you. But then you tweeted out a story with the little thing at the top of the description saying, "Shut him down." Where did the "shut him down" come from?
That's
no. But you've been arguing the opposite. You play your guys to win. It's not fair to everybody else. I've been saying "shut him down." Where did the "shut him down" come from?
No, that's fair. Well, because I think the diagnosis, what we know about this, has changed a little bit. I don't say shut him down right now. My whole point, and I said this on Twitter after I said shut him down, was if this thing lingers into, let's say, mid-December, right? At that point, and the Lions are out of it, you shut them down. You don't need to shut them down today. There's no reason to here on November 21st or whatever it is, because there's still 6 games left, and that 1% minuscule chance, and maybe he comes back next week. We don't know. Again, nobody thinks so, right? He's probably out for the season, probably out till mid-December, but you don't shut them down today. I think you shut them down, hey, maybe you win, maybe you lose, a couple more games into this thing. The Lions are officially eliminated from the playoffs. There gets to be a point where, as I wrote in that story yesterday, hopefully you didn't just read the headline.
No, I read the whole story. There was nothing in there that said shut them down.
No, but that was me editorializing. But there comes a point when his 2020 health becomes more important than what he and the Lions can accomplish on the field.
Right. It was 2 weeks ago.
No, not with.
All right, so
if he's healthy and he can play the final 5 games of the season, you don't shut him down when he can play the final 5 games.
When they're basically, we can look on the playoff predictor from New York Times.
They're not making the playoffs.
Right. They're not making.
We agree.
Okay, you agree they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
What's the point? When do you make that decision of 5 games or 3 games?
So why are you playing Kenny Golladay? It's the same thing. He's
healthy.
And that's my point. If Matthew Stafford comes back, if the doctors clear him, if the doctors clear Matthew Stafford enough and say you're healthy enough to play, you're healthy, you play with 5 games left. It's different when you have a game left than it is when you have 5 or 6 games left.
If Kenny Golladay had suffered a back injury, something kind of serious, and he was coming back, like there was some question, he was hurt right now.
Marvin Jones suffered a knee injury last year. Let's use him then.
I'm not as worried about knee injuries, but let's just say yes. A knee injury and you don't really have much to play for, and there's 4 games, 5 games left. I would say no.
You're just not going to play a healthy.
He's one of your key players that you need to keep healthy. There's nothing to play for this year. Give some young guy a chance, whatever.
No.
Give your boy Tom Kennedy.
No.
Yes.
Over a healthy Marvin Jones.
Yes.
That makes 0 sense to me. And that's the same thing with Stafford. It makes 0 sense to do it right now. There comes a point if he's healthy and you have 2 weeks left. Okay, it's meaningless at that point, right? Like he's gone too long without playing.
Where do you draw the line, though? 3 weeks?
That's
4 weeks?
My line is like the last couple weeks. That's the line that I'm drawing. That's the distinction that I did not make on Twitter because 160 characters or whatever doesn't allow it.
No, it's 320.
Shut him down.
No. So
gets to that point.
Stafford is a unique person because you're trying to say Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. No, Stafford is a unique person. He makes the offense go. 11-year vet. A lot of bumps and bruises. We've been over this many times.
We have.
2 different back injuries. Are you looking for a third one? Then he gets hurt with a new injury that he's got to rehab or take, like for what? For what? Oh, just to go out there and put some lipstick on the pig. You're still going to not make the playoffs. You're still going to probably finish either 3rd or 4th in the NFC North. Like, big deal. What's the difference?
Okay, now look. Do you think our bosses here, are they like, you know what, this season is worthless for your own mental health, just take the next month off? We don't need you anymore. You're valuable to us, Carlos. I mean, I don't know that they'd really say that, but they'd be like, Carlos, you're really valuable to us. We need your mental health going forward for next season. We're paying you. There's no reason for you to write any stories here. We want you just to be in tip-top shape for next year, just in case things get better. And, well, you know what? If things don't get better, then we'll shut you down that year too. No, you're getting paid to play the game of football. This is what you want to do. This is your job. This is what you love to do. You get out there and play when you're healthy until that point comes that I decide is the point.
This may be the all-time worst analogy you've ever drawn. You play to write the games. No, but you know what? There is actually, Dave doesn't really realize this about journalism, but there actually is sort of a parallel in journalism is teams stop traveling with, or papers stop traveling with their teams.
It's just money. Papers don't want to spend the money.
Right. It's a resource.
It's not like you're getting a cap credit from not playing Matthew Stafford for 4 games.
No, but he's a resource. He's a human resource, and this is a monetary resource that, like, hey, this team's going nowhere. We're not going to spend money on these trips. We're not getting the interest. We're not seeing the viewership, the readership, whatever it is. You have to make these intelligent, calculated decisions. They're hard decisions to make. Yes, I totally understand. Is it fair to Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay or whatever to have to catch passes from Jeff Driscoll versus Matthew Stafford? Would you rather have Stafford out there? Yes.
But you're risking those guys getting hurt by not playing your best players.
No, you're not. How are they getting hurt any differently?
Well,
I'm saying passes.
Yeah, they're catching passes that maybe here over the middle instead of here where you're running for it. Maybe you get hit a little bit more. There's different things that contribute to that when you don't play your best players.
More accurate with shorter passes.
No. Okay, so listen, your analogy, you talk about analogies that don't fit here. You're talking about, this being a resource, and I agree, Matthew Stafford is a resource in that sense. But what happens when we don't travel, or not us, but when these journalism entities don't travel? First of all, that money is already baked into the budget. Right? Like you're not traveling because we don't have the money in the budget. It's not like we're saving that money and allocating it to next year. And anyone who's in management knows that those dudes are all getting bonuses because they save money under the budget. So that money isn't coming back to anybody, right? It's going to upper management. So it's not like Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia are about to get,
you move money around because it's hey, maybe we don't cover the last few Tigers, series or whatever because they're out of it, whatever. But maybe we send Dave Birkett, to do in a late bye week, whatever. You go to Miami or something. You go talk to Ndamukong Suh.
I get to go to Miami. Sweet.
You do. Take your talents to South Beach, and you get you play with the money around, and the Wings and the Pistons are playing, and maybe there's another trip, or you send a second writer out there to do a story on LeBron, whatever it is, you can use your resources more carefully. And in Stafford's situation, you get more of a look at Driscoll. If it's a receiver,
he's not your future. What does it matter if you get a look at Driscoll or not?
He's your future backup.
He's not under contract.
Well, this is the decision of maybe you get a better look at him and hey, maybe we need to give him a contract. I don't know. What do people? I don't think people are unhappy with him right now as a backup.
No, he's playing fine. But again, if you're Jeff Driscoll, don't you want an opportunity to start or play more or whatever? This is Matthew Stafford's team. What do you need to take a look at Jeff Driscoll for? Matthew Stafford is under contract for 3 more years.
That's a good question about Driscoll. He's right on that tipping point right now. What year is he like?
This is 4. He's going to be a free agent after the year.
4th year. And, we talked to Sean Hill about this, I remember, a long time ago. And he was like, I'm okay with being a backup. I've been a starter. I was in San Francisco, and they kind of jerked me around a little bit. And it was a lot of politics. He was like, I'm okay being a backup, knowing where I'm supposed to be, what my, I'm not trying to look for the next starting job. Some guys around year 4, year 5, they're tired of playing I'm chasing the starter's job, and then things don't work out. If the Lions are happy with you, Stafford's the guy. You're going to be his backup. You're here. You know what you're doing. To give you a decent little raise. There's worse ways to make a living than a backup quarterback.
There's also better ways. A starting quarterback when you make $30 million instead of
league
minimum that
he's making. $30 million. Come on,
dude.
You think Jeff Driscoll has a chance to make $30 million?
Well, I mean, I don't know about $30 million, but what did Nick Foles just get? He just parlayed his
Super Bowl
backup
MVP?
Lot. Yeah, he just paid, but he parlayed his backup lot into a $24 million a year contract. What was he? He was a backup.
Right. And I'd say like Brock Osweiler is a good example of somebody who had
$17 million a year.
Is he playing anywhere now?
No, but he got paid $17 million or whatever he made. Okay, look, we've got off topic here. I just checked the time. We're going to get in the locker room, real soon because we just started rambling about lots of different things. So let's get to our predictions here, and we'll get back to the Matthew Stafford discussion later because I'm right. So just give me your prediction. Lions at Washington Sunday. Who wins? Why? How much do the Lions win by?
I think it's going to be pretty handy Lions win. I'm going to steal. I think it's your prediction last week. 30-17 Lions.
Okay, I think they win by a touchdown. I think it's going to be I think the Lions are maybe not completely. I don't think the offense can score as much as it did with Stafford, and I think Washington's defense is okay enough that they'll keep the game close, but their offense stinks. I've got it 24-17 Lions. I do think they break this losing streak. Get a little good vibe going into the holidays, which they kind of need around here. So
yeah. The 2 wins, and especially if it's a touchdown, it's maybe not the greatest thing. But if they win 30-17, like I say, by around 2 touchdowns or so, you're right. It'd be nice. That gives them momentum coming into Thanksgiving. Maybe that's an easier way to win against the Bears, and everybody's happy after 2 wins.
Sit him down with parentheses later in the season. Once you're out of him, shut him down. Whatever I tweeted, shut him down.
You're misquoting yourself.
Did I do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay. All right. So that'll do us. Again, big thanks to Mike. We're going to get this this remote here going, working pretty soon. So we fancy this. We gussy this thing up here. Good luck to all the kids running Saturday in Indiana. It should be fun. And Carlos.
I'm doing the chat tomorrow for you.
Yes. Carlos, make sure you log on to freep.com, 1 p.m. Carlos is doing the Lions chat tomorrow. He'll answer all your questions. Not snarky, I promise. He won't be snarky about it.
The most embarrassing question about Dave Birkett gets a free car wash from Dave Birkett.
Wow.
Send me those questions.
There's no embarrassing answers, so go ahead and send those questions. It doesn't matter.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. That'll do it for us here in Allen Park. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, soon to be with a remote control that works, freep.com.